Welcome back to Rare by Design. I'm so glad you're here, especially if you've ever been labeled, misunderstood, or seen as something you're not just because of how you look. Today's episode is called Roots, Reflection, and the Weight of Being Misunderstood. Most people decide who they think you are before they get to know you themselves. They try to categorize you based on your attitude, looks, and what they assume about your personality. I think most people do this out of ego or insecurity. People see you how they need to see you to feel superior and confident in themselves. Growing up biracial, multiracial is a unique experience. You will experience those trying to identify you with what they feel the most comfortable with, especially if you do not fit a stereotype or bias based on your culture, background, or the person they made up in their head for you. As an attractive biracial woman and you start to grow older into your true identity, you experience those dehumanizing you and get no empathy when you're experiencing things they never went through or don't understand. I see the term exotical is trending on YouTube for monoracial, multiracial, and biracial women, and I was relieved to see other people started communities to share their stories and experiences. Because from my experience, as you start growing into adulthood, you experience a change from both sides of your family and even the people you considered your friends. And it starts to feel alienating and it starts to feel like you're in a category of your own growing into a beautifully blended woman. When you are biracial, multiracial, or blended, you carry roots from different worlds and sometimes none of them fully claim you. Your skin tone may be too dark for one side, and because you have unique features that can make you stand out, you get shunned or left out by another. You might be too much of one thing to belong to one side and not enough of something to belong to another. And if your personality doesn't match what people expect based on how you look, they get confused, suspicious, or nosy. For me, I have always been quiet, observant, and introverted. But because of how I looked, people assumed I was confident, mysterious, or even stuck up. Or some people go the negative route and assume something is wrong with you, like having a mental condition. But I see that as a form of jealousy because when I meet new people or I'm getting to know someone, I never assume something negative about them unless they did something that showed me the signs. They projected these made up stories onto me, and I found myself constantly misunderstood. But as I matured, I started to notice some people will intentionally misunderstand you. They do not want to see you clearly out of hate, self hate, envy, or whatever personal problem they have. They want what they assume about you to be true. Some will even take action and try to plan things to get you out of character, make you upset, see you in a bad situation, see you uncomfortable because they are looking for something. It's like, so to say, they're poking the bear. I think mostly people that have a problem with their own image, their own identity, and self esteem do this to feel a sense of power and control by trying to humble and humiliate others that make them feel triggered or insecure, especially those that are considered conventionally attractive, or they may just have different qualities about themselves that the average stereotype they assume about a woman. And that's when you become a mirror for their assumptions, their fantasies, their biases, their jealousy, and that can make growing up and even navigating adulthood lonely. When I was growing up, I used to always try to show up for people and intuitively do things that make them feel comfortable. But as I got older, I noticed this was not a good decision, considering the unfair, evil world we live in. The average person wants you to do what's best that serves them. They really don't want what's best for you if they can't get the credit or be in control of the benefits. They want you to do what makes them look good. And if they can't, they don't want you to be successful at all. When I was a kid is when I felt the most unsure about my image and identity. Most people didn't believe what I was mixed with because of my skin tone. I was darker as a child, but my complexion and my hair texture changed as I got older. I had more coarse 4B, C hair, but as I got older, it started to change more to like 3C, 3B, or a mixture of both. And, with these experiences, I think that's what influenced my unique personality and my personal interest as I got older. And now that I'm older, I see how exotic and beautiful and unique that is to have fluidity in your appearance. And now I am in love with who I am. And I want to raise my daughter to have the confidence and security that I didn't find in myself until my late 20s and early 30s. And most people won't understand where you're coming from, or why you move the way you move, or you think the way you think. But I think that this is by design. Only the people that are meant to see you and understand you will get it. Now I am more intrigued by exploring my roots, my heritage, and my bloodline, not the surface version people fetishize over and romanticize. You don't have to belong to one box. You can create your own lane. Being biracial, blended, or multicultural is not about division. It's about depth. You carry stories from many worlds within you, and that's something to be proud of, not to hide. That is why I created Rare by Design, because I know there are many women like me who've been misunderstood, mislabeled, or misrepresented their whole lives. Women who have been told what they look like before anyone bothered to ask who they are. This space is for you, the women with layered roots, the ones who don't fit anyone's category, the ones who have personalities that don't match the surface level story people made up for them, because your worth isn't being seen as mysterious. It's being known as real. So if you've ever been called different, hard to read, or too much to define, or weird, awkward, remember this: you don't owe the world clarity. You owe yourself peace. You are not misunderstood. You're just not meant to be understood by everyone. You are more than that meets the eye. You are rare by design. Thank you for listening to episode 2. Make sure to subscribe, share your thoughts in the comments, and connect with me on my bio site to connect with me on other social media platforms. I would love to hear your story too. Until next time, stay grounded, stay beautiful, stay graceful, stay authentic, and stay rare.